She's got this. Oh. You saw it. It happened. It happened. It happened. Hey guys, I'm back, and today I've got kind of a weird video for you. Recently I was emailed about magnetic building block sets, and since I'd used these in the past in educational settings, I thought I'd try them out. I figured not everybody has seen these types of tools yet, and that it might be helpful. So I said, sure, send them my way. And to be clear, this was from Meg Genius, who sent them to me for free. Then I got the boxes. 2, by the way. I'm only gonna hold up one right now because they're pretty heavy. And they look, how can I say this? Cheap. They look cheap, and basically what you'd expect from a knockoff. It's lacking literally any and all information that would be useful for me as a consumer when buying something for a child. And the only real information they do give us is along the bottom, and even this is lacking. Like an authentic product you would pick up in store would have the safety warnings as well as a whole bunch of safety information so you know what it is you're buying and what the contents are, as well as real company information like where is their office, where did it come from, who's in charge, is there a consumer number to call if there's anything faulty. There is none of that going on here, except there is a website. But when I tried to get it to work, the browser kept telling me it was unsafe and wouldn't open. Eventually we did end up finding out how to get there, and it was just as generic with very little detail. With a bit of decent Google foo from my husband, we eventually found a page on Magformer's website listing this brand as well as a few others as counterfeit versions of their product. So if you're interested in looking that stuff up, I'll leave a link in the description for you. Now the problem with these symbols is that they're really easy to copy and reuse with very little consequence, and the average shopper would think, hey, this has met safety standards. So unless the package looks like absolute garbage and has a way too good to be true cheap price, it could be really hard for a consumer to find out what's real and what isn't. Because I mean, it's possible that a lot of new companies are making really minimalistic packages and still have real safety standards, but I kind of doubt that. So here's the thing. There's a bit of a gray area when it comes to stuff like this. Is it a knockoff? Probably. Should you go ahead and buy it anyway? Well, maybe. That depends on what you're using it for. So I thought we would make a video examining a possible gray market product and find out if it still has a purpose. Now, as usual, like I always say, I'm not here to tell you what to buy, but I am here to show you everything that I find out as I find out and give you all the information you need to make an informed decision for yourself. And hopefully have a bit of fun while we do it, because we usually do. Usually at my expense. But before we start, I think it's important, regardless of which brand you buy from, to give a warning for items that could be used by vulnerable people. These sets are recommended for ages 3 and up because they do contain small magnets, which if swallowed can be very dangerous because magnets have the ability to stick together through the intestines, which can cause serious infections or even death. So although it might seem very obvious, I recommend, as with any small parts, toy, activity, or objects, to be mindful of all wear and tear and check your pieces often, making sure to discard any broken or damaged pieces you come across, especially when they contain magnets. So they did send me 2 different boxes. I can only hold them up one at a time because they're super heavy. Now, although it would make the most sense to just open the small box and call it a day where things are slightly lighter and less cumbersome, I have decided to make things very difficult for myself, and I've chosen to open this bigger ultimate playset box because typically, like always, any structure you build using them are meant to be able to hold their shape by the sheer attraction of the magnets themselves. Like, you don't need to prop them up with anything else. And yet on the front of this box, for that bridge down there are little spokey things or like connection points or something to hold it upright, and also cars. So this is the one we're doing. And open. Whoa. Here is what we have inside. A lot of pieces, but I can't build in thin air. So we're gonna need a new camera and a tabletop. That's better. First up, we have a user guide, which is basically an instruction booklet, showing us how we could build something as simple as whatever this is to something as complex as that playground. Next, we have a bag with some plastic signs and stickers and some connecting joints. Bridge lifters, that's what I'm gonna call them, and I was right. They do stack and connect, which is very different from anything I've seen in magnetic building sets. Granted, I may have only seen 1 or 2 types that have never included these before, so it's entirely possible this is normal and it's just not normal for me. We also get 3 characters, which remind me very much of the old Lego Duplo people, and we also get 2 vehicles. One is red and the other is blue. And it looks like they're gonna require batteries. I lied, there is another character, so that makes 4. And this one looks like me. We've got a lot more bridgey pieces, and this time we have orange and green to join the yellow. We've got different flat pieces to create paths, tracks, roads, whatever you're making. And then we've got a whole bunch of other shapes and pieces. Some of them have cutouts, like this one here, which has 4 squares to make it look like a window, while this one has a bit of a door, and others are completely solid. What makes the shapes stick together are the magnetic sides, and depending on which company you buy from, the placement of the magnets will vary. Sometimes they are only in the corners, while other times it might be the entire side or just the center. Alright, so I've cleaned everything up and found all the pieces that I'm going to need to make the suburb, which was the second picture in the user manual. I've also gone ahead and added stickers to one of my signposts, as well as batteries to a vehicle. So now, even though it's a little hard to see, it flashes with red and blue lights, and the vehicle is going to move on its own. And now we build. No! Okay, it says to use 4 of these pieces in this instruction, but the final picture actually has 5. So, I don't know what they're talking about. Oh my gosh. Ta-da! All right, there is the end result. Let me just flip that up. No, I did. I was about to say I put them upside down. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Ta-da! Again, time to add my vehicle. Turn it on. Yay! So this didn't actually take me that long, so I think I'm gonna make one more that's a bit more complex, just so I can see how hard it's gonna be. So let's just head on to the back page, shall we, where all the craziness happens. This is not a today mission. Definitely not. Nor is that, nor is that, nor is that. So I think I'm gonna stick to this easier side and try to create this new world art piece. Oh, this is cheating. They've got grooves for where the vehicles drive along, and that's what they're using to hold up the tiles. I mean, smart, but cheating. What? That doesn't make sense. The instructions don't make no sense. Next is the green. Okay, if you use the grooves like they're telling me to, they just fall. You have to use the magnet. What? That's where they're telling me to put it. Then that goes there. This goes here. This goes on top. This lovely, beautiful statue. They want you to use the grooves and you can't use the groove, okay? That's annoying. I'm just gonna put that over there for a minute and try something else. There we go. I made a bridge. Go. Go. You can do it. Whee! I probably should have made an end for this. The blocks themselves are pretty cool and offer a nice shape, but some of them are pretty thin feeling, and I feel as though they're gonna snap when I try to take certain ones apart, like now, and they feel a little sketchy. And that's probably because you don't expect to pull thin pieces of plastic apart when you're supposed to be playing with magnets. For the most part, these are just as useful as any other of the magnetic blocks that I've tested in the past. They're just a little different, especially in the sense that they have some grooves so that you can use them with the vehicles that they've given you, but definitely do not use them to create structures because they are not gonna hold. They're just gonna slide through. And on that note, I've decided I'm gonna create my own art sculpture because this one was such, where the heck is it? There it is, because this one was such a colossal letdown. And since we know that the magnet portion works out just fine, I've decided I'm going to use that and that alone, as in no groove things, to make something that I can be proud of. And you know what? We'll even add some lights because then I can turn it into a light up art piece for my studio. And that's officially what this video has become. Okay, as you can see, I'm just messing around now, guys, but in the end, I'm gonna have something brilliant. So just watch me, you know, manipulate some magnets. I could have made a TARDIS. It is a TARDIS! All right, so first piece of art is a blue TARDIS. I'm pretty excited about this, guys, I'm not gonna lie. And since that's already perfect, we don't need to touch it anymore. Okay, so we have come up with a bit of art. By we, I mean Mike and I. Wait, you would see it better if I move these out of the way. Hold on. This is Mike's building. To be honest, this makes sense. It's very easy to use squares and triangles and rectangles and all that to create a building. This is pretty decent. He's even got a little doorway. Very, very cute. I'm sure that's exactly what he was going for. And here are the 3 pieces that I created. You'll notice something similar about all of them, and that's most likely just that they come to a point and that they're relatively the same height. But that is where the differences end, my friends, because these 3 buildings here are a metaphor that I just made up, a visual metaphor, if you will, for the differences that we all share, no matter what you're made of, whether it be solid pieces with a great foundation, or, you know, pieces that might just be a bit cracked and broken with a little help from others, or even a foundation that is not solid at all until you get to a certain point in your life. We all have the ability and the potential to reach great heights. Hey, that was pretty decent considering I just made that up. I'm actually pretty proud of these. They seem simple to make, but when you're put on the spot like that, it's hard to come up with something. Now I'll finish off by quickly showing you my TARDIS. It's very, very simple. There's not much to it, but I am equally as excited by it as I am by those. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add some lights to this business. Stick that in there, put that behind it, shove all those in. Oh yeah, wonder if other people have thought of this before. They probably have. This is probably not a new idea, but I'm pretty excited by it, so we're going with it. Maybe I shouldn't have put a window. Get in there. Oh yeah, it looks the exact same as it did before, except now it's filled with wires and lights. I definitely just noticed that I made a TARDIS and I'm wearing a TARDIS sweater and a TARDIS necklace, but this was actually not planned. I just literally made a blue rectangle and went with it. Okay guys, that is it for me. I am done the building. And now I have 4 fancy new sculptures. I mean, could I have done better? Yes, probably. I had a better vision in my brain. I did, it's true. But at the end of the day, my visual metaphors now light up, or at least this one does. I only bought 2 battery packs. And, oh, don't break, don't break. I think the foundation stands. Pun not intended. We're gonna spin this into a positive. Now I have an opportunity to make something new. Yay! Although I'm pretty bummed because that was a really good backstory. Fixed one. This one's pretty cool. Ooh, ooh, I almost did it again. Put it down. Stay. My name is Jen and I am currently terrified because I have indeed created a new structure, and honestly I think this one speaks volumes to my character and to my resiliency, because not only did I make something new and surpassing the height of the other metaphorical buildings, but I added to it. So before I struggle to pick it up, I'm just gonna let you know this right here is amazing, and it speaks volumes to how we all feel inside, because despite what life throws at us, you will be broken down, and from that you can gather yourself and create something bigger, badder, and more beautiful. Might still have a few cracks, might still have a few holes exposed, but it's a strong structure. Probably not, but that's what we need to believe in ourselves. Yep, that sounds perfect enough. Here we go. Please don't break. Please don't break. No, it's breaking. Please, please, I love you. Please, please. Oh my gosh, I sound pathetic. No! Please pause for technical difficulties. Don't let the magnets own you. You are bigger than the tiles. You are better than this. You are talking to yourself. You forgot to pause the video. Don't break, don't break, don't break, don't break. Be resilient. You got this. You got this. She's got this. Oh! You saw it, it happened. It happened. It happened. Dang it. I hope you saw it long enough. We might have to do an instant rewind. Ready? If it works. That's my rewind sound. You saw it, it happened. Maybe we need a better foundation. I built these tiles up to feel like a queen and they still let me down. Metaphor number 4. Okay, we're gonna try this again. This time, my new message is that maybe bigger is not always better. You don't need to outdo yourself or those around you. Sometimes you just need a good support structure. And it's really, really okay if the goals you've made for yourself don't end up being what's best for you. Sometimes we need to fall apart and pick ourselves up and go in a totally new direction. Support, love, and even a little pizzazz on top. So whether you're short, stumpy, and full of holes, tall, gold, and full of shine, or heavily supported by others and structurally sound on your own just in the last little bit of your life, or even whimsical and floating through space, there is a place for you within my heart, and I believe in everything that you have going for you. The real message here is don't give up, stay strong, and try again. I don't really think that's the message, but that's where I'm going. Whoa. It's still together. It's still together. Pushed in the bottom of my base. But it was really supportive and held strong. And I think that is a great message to end with. Okay, so at the end of the day, these aren't exactly the worst copies I've ever seen, but when it comes to safety, I do have some issues with them. We've seen how many times these have fallen apart on me and could have cracked, and I'm really lucky that they didn't, but now that thought is in my head and it makes me wonder how easy it may have been for me to access one of these magnets if the plastic had in fact broken apart, especially since the pieces are only held together by glue, whereas with a brand like Magformers they use both glue as well as metal rivets, and I feel like that's a much more secure way of keeping the magnets contained. So between my structures always falling because of the weak magnets and the possibility of cracked plastic and magnets falling out and being between the weak magnets and my structures always breaking and my newfound fear of being easily accessible, when it comes to the safety of vulnerable people, I probably wouldn't buy something that doesn't even have proper safety info. Now, if your intent is to buy something like this because you want to be a DIY artist, because clearly I made some sick sculptures, then I think these could be fine. But if you're not gonna find them for any cheaper and you have the option, I would just recommend picking them up in stores where you can see them in person from a trusted brand, because there could very well be other differences I haven't noticed, or at the very least you'll get stronger magnets. Now, as for magnetic blocks in general, I do think if you have any interest whatsoever or haven't tried them yourself, that you might really enjoy them, because they're not just for kids, they can be used as a tactile material for anyone, and magnets are fun. Okay, science is for everyone, but if your main goal is to care for and educate children, because I mean that's important, then just know that the idea behind this as a STEM product is solid, and maybe even more solid of a foundation than the creations I've built today. But in actuality, they are a great way to learn shapes, color matching, social skills, magnetic forces, attraction and repelling, a little bit of gravity. So many things for everyone to enjoy. No, I scratched the plastic. Jen is proving points. Back to what matters. If you found any interest whatsoever in magnetic tiles today and using them as a learning experience for children or even yourself as an art material, then I strongly suggest you try them out one day if you ever get a chance, and always remember what you might be giving up to save a buck. And if you decide to make something, share a picture with me on Instagram. I don't know what that was about. If you know somebody who would enjoy watching this video because maybe they've never actually tried out magnetic tiles for anything more than creating little houses, then please share it with them. And if you enjoyed it yourself, then please make sure you remember to comment, like, and subscribe. You can let me know down below what you liked or didn't like about these specific tiles or any that you've tried, as well as which of the things I made today was your favorite. And no matter what you pick, it doesn't matter. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! And also, don't forget what we've learned today, guys. You can be different, you can have goals, you might spit accidentally at the camera, let's ignore that. But at the end of the day, we all fit together and belong. Anyways, back to